Welcome back to On Air, a podcast where we do movie talk. I'm Theo, that's Una. We're your main hosts.
And I'm Lucas.
Shut up.
No, you don't have a release form signed, fool.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, we're going to ignore him, as we usually do. So, we're the main hosts. Unfortunately, our other main host, Michael, couldn't be here today, and he'll be missed.
Great guy.
So we got our guest star, Nico J. Falsetta here.
Wow.
He's our resident Monty Python fan, because he's seen the show, which makes him a fan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty good show.
Pretty good show. Well, we're not doing anything about the show.
Well, I watched the Holy Grail. Is that?
I would
What
hope.
a coincidence.
That's
what we're talking
I
about.
agreed to come
who
on
would
here
have
for.
thought?
Whoa.
It's the movie he suggested. Who?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's incredible.
Such a coinky dink.
The
Sorry,
way
I'll
things
never say
work.
it again.
So, released in, 1975? Wow. What an old movie. That's
Is
almost
it?
as old as my dad.
And and my dad too.
And your dad, too, yeah. We have,
And my mom.
yeah. And my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about your
My
parents?
parents would not let me disclose their ages.
Okay.
Okay, fair enough. So, starring Graham Chapman as King Arthur, the king
Of the Britons.
Of the Britons. And he was carried by a swallow, because that's a thing they said in the movie.
It
No,
was
it's
a
the coconut.
No, yeah.
It was a coconut.
It was a coconut that
Yeah,
was
no-
carried. Did you watch the movie?
Anyway, so when did you first see the movie?
It was, I think May or April or March, one of the spring months of 2022. I remember it was a very good movie on first viewing, and I got to the end and sort of just sat there wondering what the ending is crazy the first time you see it. I was
Spoilers.
Well, I didn't actually spoil anything.
Well, no, there will be.
Yeah. It's a podcast about movies. But so
Shut up.
I was sitting there as sort of the intermission theme played over and over, just sort of wondering what I had just watched.
Yeah.
And the answer is Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Um,
And then I watched Is It Cake after, which was not as good. It was a weird whiplash sort of thing.
yeah, I can imagine.
Whiplash, like the movie we wanted
No,
to
no, not yet. So, I don't remember when exactly I watched this for the first time. I don't know. But it was a time and a place in my living room with my father.
Wow.
And I cackled for about an hour and a half, which is about as long as the movie. So yeah,
It's
I
your
was like,
impression of the witch from the opening scenes.
exactly.
The opening.
It was very funny, very
Was it on her
funny.
nose? Was it a carrot on her nose?
I think it was just like a thing. It might have been like a hollowed out carrot. I don't know.
I don't know.
I want a hollowed out
Anyway.
carrot.
Okay. When did you first see it?
I think I got into really into sketch comedy stuff in 2020, so it was probably around then. I don't know. I watched it with my dad, as did you, I think you said.
I did say
I
that.
didn't cackle through the whole thing. Mostly because most of the jokes went over my head because I was 11 or something, but
Well, yeah.
I was at 12.
I was at 12.
how old are you now?
14?
14?
Yeah. Or no, wait.
I'm
no.
15.
Yeah, no, wait, no, I said every number wrong there. I'm 15, and I think I watched it when I was 13. Yeah. I didn't say anything right in that. I was a year behind.
Uh-huh.
Daylight savings, you know.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm still adjusting to this change. I don't have my
yeah.
watch. I just have a sort of a note on my wrist that says no watch, sorry, and then a sad face.
Who are you saying sorry to?
Myself,
Oh,
because I won't
The
fix my
watch,
watch. It
'cause
broke
it's
while I was in
gone.
history class. And we should probably...
Yeah, we should probably get back on track.
Yeah.
So yeah, you said most of the jokes went over your head, so you weren't laughing.
I laughed at some of them, like the fish part,
Mm.
when they're like, go chop down the big tree with the... I almost said plus on. That's French.
Oh, with the knights who say
French
me.
reference, like in the movie, the guy in the movie.
Yeah, the guy in the
That's how
movie.
we get
See,
back into
we're
it.
being
That's incredible.
relevant.
Anyway, you were talking about the knights who say knee.
Love those guys.
Absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they told him to go get a shrubbery. He came back, got a shrubbery, and then he said, you get another shrubbery, and you gotta chop down the biggest tree in the forest with a herring. And that's how that
Are
went.
we starting with there?
No, I'm just kind of saying
Oh, should we do
the scene that she was talking about.
the final rating thing? Or did we do that at the end
Do
last
that
time?
at the end, yeah.
After we've talked about the movie.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, we usually go
Says
through, like,
no.
what... Not usually, we've only had one of these, but, like, typically, we would say what each of us think, right?
How about we not debate the structure of the podcast while
During-
we're doing the podcast?
And we've
okay?
all said what we thought, which is that we thought it was like pretty funny, judging by how we were all laughing.
Mhm.
Except for me, because I was dumb and 11.
Anyway, we should probably do like a quick rundown of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to summarize, but
Yeah. How about you do it?
so essentially it starts with this little guy coming over the hill. He's like a knight, and then it's revealed that he's not actually riding a horse. It's just like this little guy going behind him, clopping like coconut shells, and then he like goes up to a castle, and he's like, hey, I'm King Arthur, and I need like members for my round tables. We're gonna like find the Holy Grail, but all the people in the castle are more focused on like how they got the coconut shells. So it introduces this like whole running joke of like, I have to stop saying like. It introduces this whole running joke of like how the coconuts got there, and if like they debate if it was like carried by like a swallow.
They migrated. I don't know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
It could be carried by an African swallow.
And that's the running joke that's introduced and goes throughout like, pretty much the whole film.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah, I
have
love how
some
it comes
loose
back
coconuts.
like at the bridge of, what is it? The
Bridge- Bridge of Death? No.
I think that's what it was. Anyway.
Something
I
like that.
think so.
So yeah, they were at the bridge of death, and the guy asks him like, "What's your quest?" Or what's your name? What's your quest?
And then a third question, which is either easy or hard.
Yeah, and it was
First guy was, what's your
uh,
favorite color?
what is the wings like the speed of a swallow?
Yeah, and then
he was like, was it a
African
European?
or European,
Yeah,
and
African
that's
or
how-
European. And he was like, I don't know, and then
So he
died.
kind of leaves once he realizes that like the people don't want to be in his like round table. So the first few scenes are him going around, and they're all like probably the most well-known scenes are at the beginning. Like at
Except
some
for the
point.
rabbit.
Oh yeah, the rabbit.
Yeah, that's at the end.
He comes upon this green knight being attacked by a black knight, and then the black knight wins, and he wants to like recruit him. And this is like the famous scene where
Yeah,
like
this is the most
they can do a
famous scene
sword
scene
fight,
in the
and
movie.
because the black knight doesn't want to be like in his group.
And he won't let him pass the
Yeah.
bridge.
So they have to have a fight, and he cuts the Black Knight's arm off, but the Black Knight keeps going, and he says the famous quote,
"'Tis but a scratch."
Yeah.
A scratch? Your
Your
arm's
arm's
off.
off.
No, it isn't. Well, what's that then? I've had worse. You liar.
And then he
Eddie.
just loses all his other arms and legs, essentially. And then he turns into, like, I think an animatronic. It looks like an animatronic when he's, like, on the ground.
Or maybe he has his legs in the ground.
See, Tom Cruise actually performed that scene, and he wanted it to be authentic, so they cut all of his limbs off.
Right.
I think it
How's
says
he doing
here
the
that
new
it was
Mission
John
Impossible
Cleese.
movies?
What?
How's he doing the new Mission Impossible movies? With no legs and arms?
You know when they have like in Star Wars when they when they have the
Not the
hologram
right
of the
movie.
person.
Yeah,
No,
Not
you
the-
know
Figured
you-
that's
this
what
is
it
the
would
wrong
be.
movie.
or like Polar Express.
Polar
What?
Express?
I'm
You
not
know,
even
the-
sure what we're talking
The
about anymore.
realistic models of the
So then,
people
you mean
that
CGI?
are terrible.
They didn't
Yeah,
have
but, like, that
CGI
style.
in 1975. Oh my
I think it's pretty obvious that he was an animatronic. I think just the way it was looking around is sort of like a.
Ooh.
And then after that, he recruits a bunch of knights to go find the Holy Grail, and God appears, and tells him to find the Holy Grail, and then
They split up?
yeah, they split up. Which I should I get into that right now because I.
Sure, why
Okay,
not?
so I feel like that part of the movie is like the weirdest part and I feel like it feels the most like the show because the show is just a bunch of unconnected sketches that sort of flow in, or I guess they are connected, but like they're not like consistent. They just sort of flow into one another, and then like the other thing, it's like a dream sort of.
Right.
But I think that it's the most obvious that it was made by the same people in that part because like it feels a lot like just a bunch of unrelated things going into each other, and I just thought it was kind of weird, like the cuts between them. The
Yeah.
pacing was a little off.
I kind of like that format though, where it's like, oh, none of these things seem related. They just seem like funny little bits. But then, look at the big picture, and wow, they're all together, and they make sense somewhat.
I think if they set it up more at the beginning, although I do have like a chronic problem with like pacing. I just don't. I tend to think things are too fast paced in movies, so I guess that's just more of a me problem. But what do you think about the pacing?
I'm not good at pacing. I probably should have phrased it. I'm not good at like knowing when pacing's
Recognizing?
good. Yeah, recognizing good pacing. I mean, when pacing is egregiously bad, like if it's a movie's going
You'll be
way too
chagrined.
slow. Yeah, or like in like say The Rise of Skywalker, Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of
No,
Skywalker.
we're not talking about Star Wars, guys. I don't know why you.
The pacing
Yeah, why do we keep
was
coming
way
back
too
to that?
fast. Anyway, moving on from Star Wars forever now, until I
that's
talk
not-
about them again.
You're definitely gonna talk about Star Wars at some point.
Nuh-uh.
But they split up, and then they come back together, and that's what I thought was weird. It's like it doesn't really seem like it amounts to much. They just sort of split up and come back together. But all the individual things they go on are pretty good, I think. Like there's one of them that goes to like a castle full of women that are like trying to bewitch him. Are they trying to like trap him?
They're trying to seduce him.
Yeah, but like are they? Is it like a trap or?
I don't think so. I think they were just trying
I
to
could make a
seduce
Star
him.
Wars reference.
Please
No.
don't. We're done with that.
So then there's another one that like runs into like a three-headed man and then just leaves. That's the not so brave Sir Robin, or
Yeah.
it says it actually probably. The
You know, on my most recent
no, it doesn't say it.
on my most recent rewatch of that movie, I realized that the picture book that introduced Sir Robin uses frames from the rabbit scene.
Yeah, I noticed that while I was watching it as well.
Yeah.
Which, yeah.
Yeah.
The picture book?
Also,
yeah,
the person
no, when
turning
they
the
introduce
also
all the
the
knights.
yeah, we
Oh,
skipped over
you're
that,
right.
but there's like a book opening, where it like shows each knight. So there's we get what is it Sir
Galahad.
Sir Galahad the Wise or something. He's not that important.
Yeah.
Sir Lancelot the Brave, Sir Robin the not so brave as the not nearly so brave as Sir Lancelot, and Sir not appearing in this film.
Which is Michael.
Yeah, because Michael's not here.
Yeah.
So, and then so each of them get their little things. I think the best one is probably Sir Lancelot. I think, because he's the one who the whole
I think I remember. It was the one where he goes in the castle, right?
no that's the
Okay, that was
the
the
Swamp Castle one.
Yeah, the Swamp Castle one. I remember I showed you that scene. The first time I showed you that scene, you were laughing so hard when he just massacred the whole castle.
I feel like did you show me that scene before I saw the movie?
I don't know. I just remember when I showed you that scene.
Because I just think that whole scene's funny, especially so. Essentially, let me give like a synopsis. It's like, there's this like, Sir Lancelot comes upon this situation where there's this prince, I think, who doesn't really want to be married. He wants to sing, but no one's letting him sing, and so he writes a note and shoots it out the window. There's this whole funny scene with the guards, who just cannot seem to understand that they want him. They like the king wants the prince kept in the room until the wedding.
Yeah, and one of them keeps hiccuping.
Yeah, he just sort
It's
of
probably
he
not a
doesn't
word.
say anything else really. He just sort of hiccups the whole time.
And at the end, he's like, "Oh,
So there's-
drink some water."
There's this whole interplay between them for a while, and the guards finally seem to understand. Only for the prince, I don't remember his name, but he does like he writes a note and attaches it to a bow and arrow and shoots it out the window, and the guard is just smiling at him the whole time. And the way he does it too, the way the
It's so
prin-
it's
the
such
way
a
the prince
pathetic
moves.
shoot of the boat.
Yeah,
She's
and then
like,
he also does a little like a little waddle over like to the bow to get it. So then
Yeah.
Sir Lancelot sees it. Actually, he doesn't see the arrow. It hits his like the guy that's making the coconut noises,
Yeah.
and kills him. Except he doesn't
No.
actually die. He thinks he might be able to pull through. It's Concord, right? Concord. That's the name of his steed.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it is. I don't know why. I know it is his name. I
Okay.
don't know why I even bothered. to ask.
Yeah, what? I don't
So,
know.
Who's Zoot?
Zoot is one of
Suits
the.
from the castle with the lady, like the.
Oh, right, okay.
So
And so my favorite part of that like swamp castle scene is when he's running up to the castle and
to
the
like
two
save the prince because he
Yeah.
thinks it's a princess. I think.
yeah, and the two guards are just outside watching, and it's just him like running at the castle,
He's just
and it just
eating
keeps
an
cutting
apple.
back to them. Yeah, it just keeps cutting back to them, and he's just running, and it keeps playing the same shot of him running with the same music on repeat over and over again until he's suddenly at the gate to the castle.
And then he just kills everyone. It's like a wedding party too, so he just like, kills a bunch of random like bridesmaids and stuff.
So funny.
And then he goes up, and the king gets really mad.
Until he realizes that he's a knight.
Yeah, and he should marry the princess. So he just is like, hey, why don't you be the prince, and like I can like adopt you instead of the other prince who. And the prince thinks that Sir Lancelot is like trying to escape with him, but Sir Lancelot wants no part of it once he realizes that it's a prince and not a princess.
And
so
then
the
he
king
like
just sort of pushes him out the window.
Yeah, no, he like cuts the rope that
Yeah,
like
he
the
was
son
climbing
made
out.
like a rope to climb out of the castle, but
So
his dad cuts it and he falls.
he kind of just like kills the son. So then they go downstairs and everyone's like really mad at the knight for killing everyone, and he continues to kill people as well once they get downstairs.
It's like, so sorry, I just get carried away, you know.
So then the knight realizes that the king is trying to marry him to the princess, and he just sort of doesn't want any part of that either. So
Yeah,
he goes to leave, and luckily he's distracted by everyone's distracted by the prince who somehow survived.
Yeah, it's funny how he's the king is like, my son tragically died, but the
news guy.
Yeah,
now my new
no.
son.
He was like, the girl that he was gonna marry is now like my daughter, and then they're like, no, he's still alive, and he's like, and then they do the same joke with like the girl's fathers. It's like,
yeah, I think that joke comes back like a bunch of times throughout the movie, where a bunch of people are like, no, I'm not dead. But
yeah.
I think they all mostly
like
die in the end.
The bring out your dead scene. I'm not dead yet, and it's just and they just like kill
So
him.
then the prince comes back in because somehow he didn't die either, and he sings a song that doesn't actually tell us how he survived. And then Sir Lancelot just sort of leaves, and that's the end of that.
Yeah, the song's just kind of like, he's gonna tell us how we survived, and then it's just that.
And then and then they're done.
Yeah, and then he leaves.
So that's sort of like the whole subplot, like where they all split up thing. Unless anyone, do you guys have any opinions on that?
Funny.
Yeah, they're all pretty funny. I just like in a vacuum. I just think they didn't really like.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens when they all get back together?
They
all get back together.
Yeah, and then they go for like what seems to be a year. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. They travel through. They travel for like 2-3 years.
Yeah, I think they eat the minstrels that were making the music. Whichever there was much rejoicing.
Yeah. Yay. Oh yeah. That reminds me, the like transitions in the movies.
Animations?
Yeah, the animations are really
those.
they're funny.
They're like really stylized, and I think it definitely just fits the vibe.
It's different from Terry Gilliam, the animator. He also directed this movie apparently, which I didn't know, but he was like, his animations on the show were like a difference. Like they're much more medieval in the movie, because obviously it's a movie about like knights and stuff. So I just think like they did a really good job. I think in general the movie is like way more accurate to like medieval things than most people think. Like Terry Jones I think was like a scholar or something on like medieval literature.
Also the animation of like the sun and the clouds jumping.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of you. I don't know why. You're just like.
Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah.
It's such a
Nico thing to do.
I also am the sun. Yeah. So
Oh, I love how King Arthur's like son, I think, has a mustache.
Does it?
Yeah, it has a mustache on it.
I probably should have looked at that, but I'm pretty sure all the knights have like little emblems that are unique.
Also,
there's probably
King
a lot
Arthur's
of,
the
like,
only one wearing
little
actual
details.
chainmail. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised there were like a lot of little details about stuff like that, or just funny references that you have to like look closely to see.
Well,
okay, now they go to Tim.
Yeah, they go meet Tim, because
he can lead them to the
Grail. There's this like enchanter named Tim who just blows things up for no. He's introduced by just blowing things up for no apparent reason.
What an eccentric performance.
Yeah, and then
he leads them to the cave.
Yeah, he leads them to he's like, we got to get through this cave if you want.
But there's a very foul beast.
And then it's the killer rabbit who is just a rabbit that kills people.
Yeah, they were all like, I soiled my armor. And then they go to like try and kill the rabbit, but it just
So
Dude,
then
they
get these knights these monks that are there, and that's what I'm talking about, where it's like represents medieval literature. Because I read this somewhere before, but I was trying to find it again earlier today, but I couldn't find it. But I'm pretty sure somewhere I read that like that's like a thing in like medieval literature, just like random inconsistencies like that, because the monks just like randomly show up.
I know.
And,
I
like,
was watching. I'm
as
like,
with
where
the
did
army,
they come
with
from?
the army at the end as well.
Yeah.
But
And the holy the holy hand grenade scene was great.
Mm-hmm.
there's a whole
There's a whole scene dedicated.
yeah, there's like a whole long Bible passage. For some reason, King Arthur starts getting the number 3 mixed up with the number 5.
That's a reoccurring thing.
Yeah, but I feel like it's only in that part of the movie.
Yeah, at the end he suddenly just can't count to 5.
Yeah,
He's like,
I mean,
1, 2, 5.
We don't know what happened in the years since.
Yeah.
Like, between the beginning and the end of the movie.
He had some PTSD with the number 3 and couldn't say it anymore.
He's like, I can't do it.
Wasn't strong enough.
It's too traumatizing.
So, then they get to the Bridge of Death, and there's this old guy there.
You skipped the cave scene.
Oh, the cave.
The Castle of Ah.
Is that the part with the guy the part with the animator
What's
having
his
a heart
name?
attack?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that
Yeah.
part was so funny.
Yeah, this they get to the cave and they're like reading this like thing written on a wall, and they realize there's a
monster. There's a
Yeah.
little ghoul there,
and
and
they're
it
trying to
starts
read
chasing
yeah.
them.
And then
it kills the monk.
Does it? Oh yeah, it does.
Yeah, and he's like,
there's
they're
a lot
like,
of
yeah, that's it.
Random people starting to die later on.
Yeah.
Like, so then they get out of the cave due to the animator having a heart attack, so
Yeah.
the monster disappears. And then they get to the bridge, and there's this guy asking questions. So Sir Lancelot goes first, and he gets what is your name, Sir Lancelot? What is your quest to seek the Holy Grail? And what is your favorite color? And he says blue, and keeps going.
Yep.
And then
And then Sir Robin's like, that's easy. And then he goes,
what's
it's like,
your name?
Sir Robin, what's your quest to seek the Holy Grail? What's the capital of Syria?
I don't know that.
Assyria.
And
he's
then he
like,
goes flying.
yeah, and then he dies.
And then
Womp womp.
Sir Galahad, I think, comes up, and he gets the easy ones, but then he just forgets his favorite color. And he could have just said blue, but he was like, blue, no, yeah, and then he dies.
Blue, no.
So,
yeah, and then,
so then
of course,
Sir Lancelot gets across,
yep.
and
Then he gets arrested, but then,
yeah,
then King Arthur goes, and as we said earlier, he outsmarts the guy on the
yeah.
bridge.
His question is about the swallows, and he asks African or European, and then the bridge keeper goes flying.
Yep.
So they get to the castle, and I've just realized we haven't talked about the Frenchman yet.
Oh no!
Not the Frenchman.
The Frenchmen are like
French.
this,
Yeah,
probably the
so they get to this castle. Is it supposed to be the same castle?
no. It's
so
just a different
So there's
castle
just
that
French people.
yeah, they showed up at the beginning of the movie when
They're just sort of in a castle
yeah.
insulting people, like
Yeah,
throwing
no.
dead animals.
in the beginning of the movie, King Arthur was trying to like get them to help on the. Actually, not even to just
He
join
was-
them.
yeah.
At that point, he wasn't looking for the Grail. He was
He's just looking for
Try-
knights.
yeah, knights to go to Camelot with him.
So
And then they were just like
King
I don't
Arthur
know.
and Bedivere, I think, is the only other knight left. I think the only person left with him.
Actually, no, I've completely got that wrong. Actually, the first time they went, they were looking for the Grail because I remember the Frenchmen were like, "I told him we already got one."
And then
So
he's with Bedivere. Who's the
Bedivere,
only knight left
yeah.
by the time he gets to the castle with the French people. But then he's like, okay, we gotta get them because they've got the Grail in there. We're gonna send an army, and then this army comes out of nowhere. So they're all there's
oh
just
yeah,
like
because it was teased earlier with the scene in like the castle
Yeah.
with a bunch of girls. They were like, "Oh," and
there's like a scene that's going on way too long, so everyone's like yelling at them to get
yeah,
on with it, and the
Dingo
army
it
shows
was,
up. Yeah,
and they were like,
The army
yeah,
shows up, 'cause they're-
get on with it, get on with it."
because they have to wait till the very end. So anyway, they make their big charge in,
And then the police show up.
and they get arrested.
Yeah.
Which is like such a random. It really works. It just gets
Yeah.
me every time.
I saw a video of like people watching it for the first time, and they said it perfectly. Some movies like go on for longer than they need to, but this movie ended before it needed to.
And then what I realized is that the credits. The reason it's just 2 minutes
Yeah.
of nothing is because the credits are at the beginning.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about the credits. The
The
credits.
credits,
are,
I don't actually like the credits that much.
My first
Oh, I
note
love
is
the
you're
credits.
laughing. A moose once bit his sister, and you're laughing.
yeah, no.
Oh, yeah, do you have anything else? We're almost out.
You gotta look at the subtitles when you're watching the opening credits.
Mm-hmm.
They're great. So ratings, I'd say 4 out of 5. It's great. I love it.
I don't know, maybe more, maybe 4.5.
I give it like a solid, probably 9 out of 10. But like, I don't know what a 10 out of 10 would be. That would be like a really good movie.
That'd be like basically perfect.
There's like a ton to talk about too. Like we didn't even get to the Knights Who Say Knee.
We mentioned them briefly.
We did, at the start.
I mean, that's pretty much the whole thing. They just say
Yeah, they
knee.
don't do much
They
except
just
for
say knee until
Yeah.
the end where they like say eki zupang zuboing or whatever.
That's actually it was Patang, but I don't remember
Patang
anything else.
zuboing.
Yeah,
And then there was the one
Knight that keeps saying knee. That's
and,
that.
and they're like, no, we don't do that.
There's like a little guy back there, and then for some reason, just like everyone else gets like physically pained when they say knee. They get physically pained when other people say it, I guess.
Yeah, and it's just like, what's the word? And they're just and they're like, oh, what is it? Is? And they're
Well,
like,
no.
well, no, we couldn't get very far in life without saying is.
Yeah.
So
And then, yeah.
yeah, that's
That's
sort
like
of,
probably the most Monty Python-esque thing in the movie, I think, besides like the random switching of like the knights at the beginning.
right.
Is there any like do you guys have anything else you wanted to like?
all of my notes are just gibberish. So.
Yeah, so is half the things you say. Well, we're almost out of time.
Is there?
So, what do we got next? Huh? You want to say it?
We have the hit movie Scream.
1996.
You gonna do the thing?
You may have heard of
You
it.
gonna
to
do the
Scream.
thing? Yeah.
I can't.
No, do the
I went
thing,
to
do
a
the thing.
concert last night. My voice is
Do
gone.
the thing. Do the thing.
Oh god.
Do the thing. yeah.
Anyone listening with headphones, I am so sorry. Okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's the movie we're watching.
Wow.
Oh wow. And then we're doing a movie after that, and
Another
another one after that, and
Oh,
another one
so
after
many.
that. Probably, I don't know. We can
Probably
only,
gonna be more than 4.
yeah, we can
can-
I
only
would
we can
hope.
only plan so far ahead into the future.
Yeah. Live in the moment, guys. Come
Yeah,
on.
come on, enjoy what you
One
have.
thing I have to say is
and-
the music in Holy Grail is good.
oh,
Oh my god.
it's good.
That was
The-
my second note. The
da-
theme
da-
for
da- da-
Arthur's travel hits.
Yeah, no,
da-
that,
da- da-
and also
da-
the,
da-
the
da-
Knights of Camelot song where they're doing all the dancing.
We're Knights of the Round
Oh, yeah, that
Table.
too.
We dance when we're able. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I don't remember any of it.
Yeah,
Except for the part where they say Knights of the Round Table.
I have to push the Paramalot.
And then they just decide not to go to Camelot and just skip to
She's
the Grail.
just like, I'm taking that. Let's not go to Camelot. 'Tis a silly place. And then God shows up and gives them their quest.
And I think actually the music in the show was, or in the movie was, like, I think the guy that wrote like the original music, which is this guy Neil Innes, I think, he originally wrote the whole score, but they actually thought it sounded too serious and like too accurate for like, what they were trying to make fun of, so they took away some of the songs and replaced them with like stock music. But I think like
That's really
the
funny.
theme, like the night theme that you guys like is
Yeah. Right,
like,
the best
written
thing
by
in the
him.
movie.
That one's
Anyway,
great.
as we said before, we kind of went back and forth between doing an outro and
Yeah,
keep-
and then we're like,
continue
oh,
talking
hey,
about
by
the
the way,
movie, yeah.
before we're done, this part's really cool.
Yeah, we sort of forgot. We're still new to this. Come on, cut us some slack. Anyway, yeah, we got Scream next week.
You should
Wow.
scream again.
I don't wanna.
Yeah, Scream again, Thea.
We still have like
Yeah,
a few.
that's the movie.
Okay, that's time. Bye.